All right, get this. Imagine, right? Imagine you could see a pest infestation
Yeah.
threatening a farmer's entire crop, but like before you can even see it,
Yeah.
like with your naked eye. Sounds crazy.
Yeah, like some kind of superpower.
It's like X-ray vision, but for your fields. And that's kind of what NDVI is.
It is. It's like,
We're diving deep into the world of NDVI today, and this tech is seriously changing the game for
Right.
agriculture. Like, this could even impact what you're eating, you know?
Definitely.
Our source for this deep dive is Farmonaut.
They're doing some really amazing stuff.
They are. They really are. And they're really, on the leading edge of all this.
Leading edge, yeah.
So NDVI, for anyone who doesn't know.
NDVI stands for Normalized Difference Vegetation Index.
Okay.
And basically, it's all about how plants reflect light, right?
Okay.
So healthy plants,
Yeah.
they reflect light differently than, say, a plant that's got a disease.
So it's not as simple as just looking at a plant, because to us, we just see green. But NDVI can, pick up on things we totally miss.
Exactly. It's like plants are talking to us,
Right.
and they're speaking a language of light, especially in the near infrared spectrum.
Which we can't see.
Right, invisible to us. But NDVI, it decodes that language.
Okay, so walk me through that a little bit. How does light, tell us how healthy a plant is.
Okay, so think about it this way. Imagine you're trying to figure out your budget,
Yeah.
right? But you're just looking at a jumbled up list of transactions.
Oh, that's my nightmare.
It'd be a nightmare, right? Like, how do you make sense of it?
Yeah.
But now imagine you could just see instantly, your income minus your expenses.
Like that clean bottom line.
That's what NDVI does. It compares how much near-infrared light a plant reflects to how much visible red light it reflects.
Yeah.
It gives you that one number that tells you a lot. That's your NDVI value.
So that's like the plant's health score.
Exactly.
High score, healthy plant. Low score, something's up.
You got it. And just like with your budget, that one number unlocks so many insights. And then you can actually act on that information.
So we're talking about when to water, when to add fertilizer, that kind of thing.
Exactly. Even when to intervene, like early signs of pest or disease. And that brings us back to that farmer I mentioned. He was able to save his entire crop from these pests because he caught it early, thanks to NDVI.
See, that's what I'm talking about. That's huge. But this isn't just about one farmer, right? This is bigger than that. Why does this matter for, everyday people? Why should I care about this?
It's all connected.
Yeah.
When farmers can use resources more efficiently, less water, less fertilizer, that's good for everyone.
Because it's good for the planet, and it's good for my wallet when I go to the grocery store.
Exactly. It's about the big picture.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not even, just about using less. It's about being smarter. Like, if you can pinpoint a problem early on.
Instead of having to, blanket a whole field with pesticides or something.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's the idea. Targeted treatments.
Yeah.
Better for everyone that way.
Right. Way better for the environment, for our health, all of it. But how are farmers actually getting this data, this NDVI data? It's not like they're out there with, little magnifying glasses or something.
Well, there are handheld sensors.
Okay.
But the really cool stuff is happening with, satellites.
Okay. So that is where Farmonaut comes in.
Yeah.
Because they have their satellite, right. And they have that AI system. And actually, speaking of that, they talked a bit about how satellites stack up against drones, for example.
Right. Because drones can be super useful, but
yeah,
they each have their pros and cons, right?
Right.
Like, drones are great if you want really, really detailed images.
You're talking about, individual leaf detail, huh?
Exactly. But if you've got hundreds of acres to cover, that's not really practical.
Yeah. No, not really. So satellites, it's more about scale then.
Exactly. Satellites are all about scale and consistency. Like Farmonaut's report, they were saying how their satellite imagery can cover, entire regions.
So it's like a big picture view of what's happening.
Exactly. Big picture view, but also because they're orbiting all the time, you get that constant stream of data.
So you're not waiting for a monthly flyover or something like that.
Exactly. So farmers can track changes almost in real time. But it's what you do with that data, right? And that's where AI comes in.
Right. And that's Jeevan, Farmonaut's AI. So Jeevan is looking at these satellite images and connecting the dots.
Exactly. Finding patterns.
So what kind of things is Jeevan uncovering?
Well, one of the big ones is irrigation. Like when to water, how much to water, overwatering. That's a huge problem.
Yeah. And you think more water, better, right?
Right. But it's not that simple. You can actually harm plants by overwatering. Not to mention, you're wasting water, which is, not good for anyone.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. So NDVI can help avoid that.
Exactly. NDVI can say, hey, this area is looking a little stressed, even if you can't see it with your eyes. And then Jadivin can say, okay, this is how much water you need to give it. Like Farmonaut had this example in their report.
Oh, yeah.
A farmer in California, he cut his water usage by like 15% just by using NDVI.
Wow, that's huge. Especially, with all the droughts and stuff we're seeing. And it's not just water, right? There's fertilizer, too.
Oh, yeah, fertilizer is another big one. See, over-fertilizing, it's a huge problem, not just because it's wasteful, but because all that excess fertilizer, it runs off.
It ends up in, like, rivers and lakes instead of...
Exactly. Polluting waterways, causing all sorts of problems.
So farmers lose money and the environment suffers.
Exactly. But NDVI helps create a more sustainable approach. It's about giving the plant exactly what it needs, where it needs it.
It's like a personalized diet plan for crops.
That's a great way to put it, because when you give a plant exactly what it needs, what happens? It thrives.
And it doesn't need that extra fertilizer.
Exactly. You get healthier crops, higher yields, and, a lighter impact on the environment. It's a win-win all around.
I like those. And those are just like a couple of examples. We're just scratching the surface here. Farmonaut's report was talking about predicting yields, even helping with insurance claims, all kinds of things. So much cool stuff. And it feels like, we're just getting started. What's next for NDVI? What's coming down the pipeline?
Well, one area where we're seeing a lot of potential is machine learning.
Okay, so AI. AI and NDVI. Interesting.
Right, because think about it. Javine is already crunching all this data, right? But as it learns, it gets better, it gets smarter.
So you're talking like predicting problems before they even happen.
Exactly. Like imagine a system that can predict a disease outbreak before you can even see it with your eyes.
Wow. So instead of reacting to a problem, you're ahead of it, like having a crystal ball or something.
Yeah. And it's not just about prediction, it's about responding, in real time. Like imagine you're a farmer. You get this alert on your phone. Hey, NDVI values are dropping in your west field. It might be pest stress.
And you're like, hold my coffee, Jeevan, I'm on it.
Exactly. You're out there before it even becomes a serious issue.
That's wild. But okay, so we keep talking about light, right? But NDVI, it's just looking at a tiny slice of that light. What about everything else?
You're talking about hyperspectral imaging.
Hit me with it.
All right, so if NDVI is like looking at a few colors, right? Hyperspectral imaging, it's like seeing the entire rainbow and then some.
Okay, so way more data. What kind of things can we see with that?
We're talking about like mineral deficiencies in the soil or early signs of disease, even before they're visible. We could see water stress at a cellular level.
Cellular level. Wow, that's incredible. Okay, so when can I buy stock in this hyperspectral thing?
Well, it's still early days,
Right.
but it's developing fast. We're already seeing it on satellites, even drones.
So this real-time AI-powered future, it's not that far off.
Not at all. And the best part is all this data, these insights, they don't just help farmers. This is about our entire food system.
Right, because we're talking about growing more food.
More food, using less resources.
Less water, fewer chemicals.
Exactly, making the whole system more resilient, Because who knows what challenges are coming down the road.
Climate change and all that.
Exactly. And it goes beyond food even. Imagine using this technology to monitor forests, track deforestation, maybe even predict natural disasters.
That's pretty amazing when you think about it. All this just from looking at how plants reflect light.
It makes you realize, sometimes the simplest things hold the most potential.
It really does. Well, that wraps up our deep dive into NDVI. It's been enlightening, to say the least.
I think that's a good plan.
Get it? Because of the light. I'll work on my material.
Oh.
But seriously, thanks for joining us for another deep dive, everybody. Until next time.
See you next time.